Hello and welcome to Pattern Reviews Meet the Designer series. I'm Deepika, founder of Pattern Review. And today we have the beloved Kennis Wong from H to Stitch Pattern Company. Kennis, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Deepika.
And for those of you who are not familiar with the series we do on Pattern Review, it's a little vision of mine to think a little bit more behind before you pick up that pattern. It humanizes the pattern company, puts people who are usually behind the scenes a little upfront and tell us a little story about why they started this pattern company, because I do think that independent patterns are more than just what you see in an envelope. There's a story behind it. There's a vision. A designer puts a lot of themselves into these patterns. So when you pick up an independent sewing pattern, you will connect a little bit more, understand a little bit of their philosophy, and hopefully try some new indie patterns. Let's get started. Kennis, how are you doing
Yes,
today?
I'm really good. Beautiful weather and the summer has arrived. So lovely.
Oh, good,
Yay.
good, good. It's a lovely day here in Massachusetts as well, and I went for a nice walk with a friend and
Oh,
got
perfect.
lovely endorphins. That's why I like doing these interviews in the morning. I
Yeah.
have so much more energy.
So you're a morning person.
I am a totally morning person. After 9 p.m., my juice is down.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of like a 2 p.m. person.
2 p.m., that's very oddly specific.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in keeping with the same theme, tell us a little bit about your company, It's to Stitch. What is your philosophy,
Mhm.
and why you started It's Stitch Pattern Company, and what motivates you to
Mhm.
work on this company every
Mhm.
day?
Well, philosophy is a big word. But what I like to think about each stitch is that it enabled with people to create things that they're proud of. So what I like to hear from my customers and from my testers is that oh, I didn't think that I was able to create something like this, and but now I made it, and I'm really proud of myself. And I want them to say, oh, I didn't know there's another way to do this. I didn't know this technique. I learned something new. So and if they tell me that um, they receive a lot of compliments on the dress or the garments that they make. That makes my day. So I would like to think that I enable people to be proud of what they make themselves. And on another level, it's also each stitch also mean to me personally is that um, it enabled me to have the freedom that I want. I since I started Inch Stitch, I travel a lot, and maybe you notice that a lot of my patterns have names that are from different places. So most of them I've been to, and some of them are on my to-go list. So I like traveling, and Itch Stitch gives me the freedom of doing the things that I want to do, and I'm in control of my schedule, and I work very hard. I don't really think about weekend or weekdays, but whenever I want, I say, okay, if I want to take a few days off, I'm able to do that. So I like to tell people that I have a very cool boss, and she lets me do everything, anything.
I think that's so true. I feel the same way about pattern review, that I have the
Mm-hmm.
flexibility of time, and I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
most precious commodity we have these
Mm-hmm.
days. And
Yeah.
I'm able to do a lot because I'm able to work from wherever, whenever,
Mm-hmm.
and the quality of life is different. And
Yeah, I mean, people work for different currencies. Like if they might want any financial gain from work, from a job. But there are other things too, a lifestyle, maybe legacy or different things that they appreciate. And there are a lot of things.
um, tell us a little bit about when you started sewing. Have you always been sewing?
Yeah,
Or
I started sewing when I was 13 years old. I am from Hong Kong. So I spent grew up there, and the schools there at that time, or at least my school, had sewing class. It's very, yeah, gender specific. They probably won't be able to get away with it now. But the girls, uh, had to go to the sewing class in the home economics class, and then the boys went to the woodworking and metalworking. So I started sewing when I was 13, and I remember making a baby dress and also a pair of shoes. So that's
a
how
pair
I
of
learned.
shoes?
I did shorts.
Oh, shorts. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't have anybody sewing in my family, so I was kind of like I didn't learn from my grandmother or anything, but I learned from school. So
Oh,
from that point
great.
on, I just kept sewing, and because I liked it.
Awesome. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that beautiful dress you're wearing, but tell us,
Mhm.
do you primarily use H-stitch patterns for your own personal sewing, or do you sew with other designers or commercial patterns?
Well, the short answer is that I don't do a lot of personal sewing because when I create a pattern, I sometimes sew 3, 4, 5, 6 times of the same pattern. And by the time I'm done, I take photo of it, and the final garment is what I wear. It's what's in my closet, and I wear that for a long time. But it's the
But
same. I
so
like,
that is your wardrobe then. Your wardrobe is
yeah, it's just
basically
my wardrobe.
yeah, because
That's
you are,
what, yeah. So I mean, you can say that it's personal, but it's for business, and then become personal after that. I'm excited that, by that time I'm excited to sew something new. I'm the type of person that want to create new things, and my customers also like to see new things, and that's why I produce quite a bit, and for example, I like cooking a lot, and people ask me what's the favorite dish to make. I say my answer is that I like to create dishes that I have not made before. So it's
oh,
always
you're
something new.
experimental in your cooking.
Yeah,
That's
so is sewing. That's what I like. After making 6 dresses, and they're not always wearable. Initially I make something and say, oh, I'd like the sleeve to be bigger or shoulder to be narrower, and I don't finish the inside knowing that this is just my test garment. So by the end, I know what that's the final, and I finished the inside nicely, and I wear it for a long time. So I mean, there are some favorite of mine that I wear a long time. For example, my Enza jumpsuit that's like 9 years ago. I'm still wearing it, and
awesome.
maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's gonna fall apart someday while I'm wearing it. But yeah, I and also like my cardigan. I wear that all the time. During
Nice,
the
nice.
colder months.
The cardigans are so great because they're such great transitional pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they go out of style ever. A cardigan
Mm-hmm.
is a cardigan, you can wear it. It's timeless. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, I think most of my styles are not really time sensitive per se. I mean, there are some things like, maybe this season they're more tier dresses, or they're like the jeans are straight or high waist instead of mid waist. But they come and go, and you can always go back into the same pattern, make them again if you want to.
yeah. And so I'm going to ask you a little bit about the timeline because you do produce a lot of patterns. So
Mm-hmm.
um, if people watching this are not aware, we do carry Stitch patterns on PatternReview. And when we do the year-end highlights, Stitch is the one we have to make your own collage because you've released probably 12 or more patterns in a year. I
Mm-hmm.
remember a year in which you released like 14 patterns in a year.
Yeah, average more than 1.1 or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, this is
Uh-huh.
fantastic. So when Laura and I don't hear from you in a month, I'm like, what's going on with Kennis? Is everything okay? Because we usually do announce it's to stitch pattern every month. So how do
Yes.
you manage that timeline? Do you have a pretty close-knit tester group, like
Mhm.
technical editor, or do you wear all hats yourself? Do you do it all by yourself?
I do mostly everything myself. Because my husband takes photos for me, but I still need to be there, obviously. And but each pattern is a project, but I'm not reinventing things every time. The format is the same. The content is the same in terms of what information is in the pattern. So usually what I do is that I have a Pinterest board, or sometimes I just go out and pay attention to what people wearing, what looks good to me, and what's lacking in my catalog. And then I have ideas already that's lined up in my head. From the idea, I start drafting the first pattern already that fits me. Or even though I don't fit into one size, people ask me, I don't draft for me. I draft to size 8, and then I go from there. But I need to change it for me as well.
Right.
And then and that from there, I make a sample garment, test it, and then I go back and sometimes maybe 2, 3 times, that's enough for me to find the right style, right everything. But sometimes it goes to 6 times even. But that cycle could vary. So it might be a couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks to even a month. And then after that, after I get my final garment made, I take a photo, and then I grade it. After grading it, and then I create instructions, and instruction doesn't take a lot of time, because again I can reuse a lot of material.
Right, you can just
Um,
copy and paste, like for how to do a binding from another pattern. It's
yeah, yeah.
it's it's
Hmm.
great. I noticed also that you have a large pool of testers. Um,
Hmm.
that can be a lot of work managing so many people.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about how you do that. How do you manage so many testers? But
Yeah,
I really do appreciate that they're all different body types.
mhm. A lot of these testers have been with me for a long time, and some of them are from way from the beginning, so 10 years ago. And this year,
Wow.
I'm celebrating 10 years anniversary in October of It Just Stitch.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you, thank you. I
awesome.
had never thought it would be 10 years
What
old.
a great
Yeah, that's a
milestone. What a great
yeah,
milestone.
that's amazing. But yeah, so it is a lot of work to manage the testers. But once you work together for a few times, I get to know them, they get to know me. I have a process that works, and usually I make the pattern as best as I can, like I'm going to release it before I give it to them, because I
Okay.
know that if I have something that I'm not happy with, and then I give it to them, it's going to magnify even worse. It's going to be confusion and all the things. So I do it as fast as I can before I give it to them. And then once I give it to them, I don't do a lot of iterate. I don't make version 3 or 4 or 5, because again, if I do that and somebody has started cutting and somebody is doing it's a
It's
mess.
confusing.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so what I do is that as much as possible, I make a list of things that I need to change. I call it my to fix list. So it's gonna be, I keep adding to it. And at the end, I just make changes to that according to the list. And usually I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so I don't have serious changes that I need to make. If the fit is not, I'm not happy with the fit, I don't give it to the tester to begin with. I make it as best as I am satisfied. When I'm satisfied with it, then I give it to the testers.
So has there been any pattern in which you drafted for size 8 for yourself and then you made a dress or whatever it may be, and you decided that you didn't like it, so you didn't go ahead with the process. I'm sure there are patterns like that, or have you?
Yeah, well, there are not very many. I mean, I do remember when I was doing one style, but it just doesn't look right on me, and I'm like, okay, well, it looks good on the model somewhere, but it doesn't look good on me. And I changed the style. And again, that does not go to the tester. It doesn't go down the path uh, very deeply before I change my mind and make the change. And usually that change would be in the iteration, the initial iteration, before I even grade it.
Good, good. So let's talk about that dress you're wearing. I can't stop looking at all this beautiful neckline and the gathers, and I cannot wait to hear more about it. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
So this dress, I'm working on it right now. It hasn't gone to testing yet. Probably maybe I'm hoping a week or so, it will go to my testers, but no promise. And it's a woven dress, and I can stand up a little bit so you can see that it has a
Sharing.
sharing. It's really not true
Oh,
sharing
is it
because it's
elastics?
elastic,
Three
because I
elastic
feel
channels.
that, yeah, it's exactly 1, 2, and 3. And I feel that it has a little bit more control. So I choose to do this instead of doing the sharing elastic. And also this way, it has a tier skirt.
Oh, how
It has
lovely. It's so
one, two,
perfect for summer.
yeah, it's 1, 2, 3 tiers, and I also have an option for 2. I mean, you know, people who can sew so they can do 2 tiers, or they can do 3 tiers, they can do no tiers as a shirt or whatever they want, right? So the waist is a little higher, so it is kind of under the bust, because I think that, like, I'm 5'4", so 163 centimeter. And I usually don't wear long dresses because
I don't
I think that,
either.
so it makes my leg look shorter, well, honestly. But then so this way, how I mitigate that is that I'm moving the waist a little higher, so that it looks like I have a longer leg, more flattering silhouette. So my husband also loves this dress. So I think and it's woven, and this particular material that I'm using is a linen cotton mix, non-stretch. So it's very good for the summer. So this is lightweight woven. It's perfect for this.
And I like all of the neckline gathering and the
Yeah.
V-neck, and it's beautiful.
So there's gathering here. It looks like a V-neck, but what it is, before you sew it, it's actually a straight placket and straight center front here. So what make it V-neck are these gathers. So I gather this here so that it can be a little bit
Open. I like it.
V-neck. And then also, you see that I tag it here, but because it's straight, you can really do whatever you want here. So if
Oh,
you
yeah.
can
So you
do
can keep it open.
you can keep it all the way open if you want. Or if you're more conservative, you want to be more modest, you can tag it here as well.
I love it. I actually love that about your patterns. They're um, very like user friendly. You can change them up, and and I've sewn your Havard jacket 3 times now, and one of them, and because I love that pattern so much, I could just pick it up. I don't have to think about it. I can use my special fabric for it. And I have been on the lookout for a dress like that. And what I have done is I have printed off your Bond shirt, which has a
Uh-huh.
similar
Yes.
it's wonderful. Your
Color.
similar color with this, I said,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'm going to use that as the bodice, and then I'm going to
Uh-huh.
just add my own skirt. So I've actually printed it and ready for me to sew, but now I'm just
Oh,
going
well,
to
you can
wait.
do that too. It would be exciting. But I love when people use my pattern and make it their own, make some changes to it, and the way that they like it. That's why I don't do a lot of variation. I think my target audience are usually a little bit more intermediate to advanced. And some people do come to me and say, oh, can I make a long sleeve, or can I make a short sleeve? But I ask you if you can make your dress a little bit long sleeve. You know how to do that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
Mhm.
great. I like it. I like it when um when people empower others to do the things themselves rather than just doing it for them. So you kind of touched upon that, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So if someone watching this interview has never heard of H2Stitch Pattern Company, and they want to try one of your patterns, like all of them are amazing, but which pattern do you think you would ask them to sew first?
I would ask them to sew 1 or 3 of the free patterns first. So I have 3 free patterns. And so, I mean, people who are new to H2Stitch doesn't necessarily mean they're new to sewing. I know people don't know the brand.
Yeah.
I understand that. So it's not just trying to sew a garment or learning to sew a garment, but it's also get familiar with the format and how the files work and what are the different sections, what information I have that people can use to understand what they're sewing and how it fits them. So I encourage them to sew the free patterns first, so they don't have to spend any money buying a pattern before they are happy with it. So and then after that, I think that if somebody has sewn a garment or two and can follow instruction reasonably, then I think that they can really sew anything from my catalog. As long as they're happy, as long as they like the style. I don't expect everybody to like every style. That's unreasonable. But if they like something and they are open to learn and to follow instruction, I think they can do it.
What are the names of the 3 free patterns? I know there's the Lindy petal skirt. Is that a free pattern?
Yeah, the Lindy petal skirt, and then there's the Lago
Lago tank.
Tank.
Yeah.
And then there is a.
Is there?
There is a.
Or a dress.
It's a top.
It's a top.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
Because I have so many patterns. Yeah. There is the free pattern. I'm going to tell you.
For those of you
watching,
which one is it?
It's called Ubita.
Oh, Uvita. Okay. We love the names you use for the patterns. They're so unique. And both Laura and I think that, I wonder if she can include an audio file with every pattern just so we can learn how to pronounce those names. But they're always.
You can probably Google them. I try to find something that is pronounceable. But it's not always easy. Initially, my patterns are named after like women's names. Okay. And they are just hard to come by. And everybody's doing the same thing. So I'm like, okay, now I need to go into different places and maybe some obscure places that people don't know about. And I can't do something like Milan, for example.
No.
Or something very common. It's taken. So
yeah, it's taken. No, I like it. I absolutely love the names. And okay, so we are going to watch out for this new dress pattern in a few weeks. And you can find that pattern at H2Stitch's website. We're going to include all the links, or you can buy it on PatternReview. We also, all of H2Stitch patterns are available as digital patterns with layered files and copy shop files included, or you can print those at home and in the tile format. And do you offer projector files or no?
No, so far people have been using my A0 file, the large format file, successfully with their projector. So because the A0 file has layers, and whenever possible, I also lay them in one direction, and the lines are very thick, so they have no problem using it with their projector. However, people do keep asking me for a specific file, and I'm actually gonna move to a new place in a few months, and I plan on installing my own projector. And at that time, I also want to do a projector files because I feel like I'm the type of person who want to at least try it myself in order to offer to somebody, so that I can, I can make choices, make the right choices, or at least make the choices that I can back it up myself. So I'm going to do that. That's the plan for later in the year.
Awesome. I also wanted to mention that your patterns are size inclusive. Most of the patterns, the newer patterns you're releasing, they're available in two sizes, 0 to 20 or 0 to 18 and
Yeah,
20 to
the
40.
older patterns are 0 to 20,
Yeah,
and the newer patterns is 0 to 40.
0 to 40. That's like a great value. And um, especially for me, I'm a fuller busted. You also have cup sizes options, so that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, let's talk about being a small business owner. Usually, a small business owner wears many hats, and
Mhm.
for me, no one day looks like the next one. So when people ask me this question, what does a day look like? There's some
Mhm.
similarities, but I always love hearing from other people. What does a
Mhm.
typical or atypical day in Itch to Stitch look like for you?
Well, it's, as you said, it's not the same every day. However, it's not very different if I look at the time span as uh, a project. If my project is a pattern and I spend maybe a few days, to a week or a few weeks to draft a pattern. So I work with the computer and using my software to do it. And then afterward, I grade it. And so the cycle is not drastically different from project to project, but from a day-to-day basis, that's different. So sometimes I would be drafting, sometimes I would be sewing at the sewing machine, and sometimes I would be doing grading at the computer. Um, Sometimes I go out to take photos, and but but one constant is that when I get up in the morning, I usually would, after drinking my tea, I would look at checking my email. And my email is where the customer asks me questions. And I also go to the Facebook group, ITS Facebook group, because there are people posting the things that they make. I love seeing them. So those are the things I'm constant from day to day.
Awesome. I am going to include your Facebook group and other resources you've talked about in the description box below. And we're going to throw this on Pattern Review's blog as well, with some
Perfect.
links and stuff. So it's helpful for people
Mhm.
to find everything we're talking about.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your other interests besides sewing. What do you like to do when you're not sewing?
I have too many hobbies. Too many. Uh,
Let's
I
hear
as
them.
currently I'm obsessed with long distance hiking. The reason that I have not released a pattern in a month, you were talking to Laura, was that because I took a vacation last month. I did a 12-day hike,
12
and
day?
yes,
I'm only
12-day
a day
hike.
hiker, so you're awesome. 12 days?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's like I'm addicted to it. I'm already planning the next one.
Wow.
So, and after that, in the last couple of years, I also start painting. I'm doing watercolor here. Actually,
I
there's
could
one
see it.
watercolor right there.
Yeah, it's
And then
beautiful.
I'm doing oil painting as well. This one right here. I make this one.
That's
And
gorgeous.
so that's what I like to do. And then I also like cooking, like it's fun. And I was obsessed with growing orchids, and now I grow fruit and vegetable in my balcony garden, and my strawberries are looking beautiful right now. But I would like to do more, but I don't have time. So I should really, you
It
know,
looks like a lot to me
not do
because
a
it's not like you're just doing one other thing. You're doing five other things.
exactly. And my husband is doing like learning 3D printing and all this stuff. I'm like, I want to do it, but I really can't.
That sounds like so much fun.
Uh-huh.
What is he 3D
Uh,
printing right now?
He is trying to make some in
Bookends.
bookends.
Nice, nice, beautiful.
Mhm.
I've seen some nice ones in the stores. So they add like a nice little
Mhm.
decoration to the books, the
Uh-huh.
bookcase.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
And he also want to make globes. That's like his dream. So
his
anyway,
dream to make globes.
yeah.
That's fun. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your family. What are some of the things you
Um,
like to do with them?
so my again, I have a husband. I don't have any pets. I travel too much to have pets.
We don't have any
And
pets either. We also travel a lot.
yeah, so I'm originally from Hong Kong, as I said. My family never lived in the US. I lived in the US for a long time. Majority of my life, I lived in the US. And so I want to go visit them more often because my parents are there. My mom's 80 years old and my mom's 89 years old. And my dad's 89 years old. I have a brother and he has his wife and kids. So I feel like I want to see them more.
Yeah.
So especially during the time of the COVID time, I wasn't able to visit them for 3.5 years. So when I went back, I see that, oh wow, when people get older, they change really really fast. So I want to spend as much time as possible. And my husband's family is from California, so I haven't been back there for a while. So maybe next year I should go and see everybody there. Mm.
Nice. I am originally from India, and my family, my husband's a lot of his family is in the US, has two brothers, but his
Mhm.
parents and my parents are both in Delhi, India. So we do visit
Mhm.
them every year. It's a long flight, but it's
It's
just
a
every
long flight.
moment. Yeah, every
Yeah.
moment. My brother's there. It's just
Uh,
it just
the flight
recharges.
is it's not just the flight as well, it's the jet lag. I'm like, it takes me 2 weeks to adjust, and then by that time, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's time to go.
Yeah, it is. Actually, when I go there, I'm just so excited and like high on adrenaline that I don't get
Mhm.
hit by jet lag. It's when I come
Oh,
back
okay.
here,
Uh,
that's when it really hits me. And now, as I'm getting older, it takes me almost a month to get back into the regular routine. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, it's like it's still worth it. It's just
It's hard. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you mean.
good, good. Okay, so we're almost done here, but I would always like to end with a little um, something fun. So
Okay.
tell us a little simple tip or a habit you've incorporated into your life, whether
Mhm.
it's your personal life or your business life, which has made a huge
Mhm.
impact for you. And if you want to share with us, maybe some of us can be inspired to
Mhm.
incorporate that.
Well, I, that's a that's not easy to answer because I thought about, if it's a habit, I usually don't think about it very much. But
So maybe something a little tip which you picked up
mhm.
just
Yeah.
recently and
Mhm.
you've noticed that it's like, oh wow, why didn't I think of that before? It's made a huge difference for me.
Mhm.
And um
Um, I think that I think that trying to learn new things is something that makes a huge difference in my life. I think that maybe sometimes it's just small things like learning a new way to do this to for a better result, doing the same thing for a better result, or maybe learning a new language, or maybe it's just random fact that maybe you don't think that you would use, but sometimes it does. It keeps my mind, my brain more active and creative, and also less fearful as well. I feel that if I know more things, I'm not scared of them.
what a great
So
what a great advice to always be learning something. And um the more you know, the less fearful you are. And
mhm.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes you learn new things and you think it's useless, but then it just pops up. For example, I mean, I learned pattern making 10 plus years ago, and now I have itchy stitch. It
Nice.
changed my life.
It changed your life. Wow. On that note, Kennis, it has been such a pleasure chatting with you. I have always wanted to connect with you, even though we've only connected via online, either through
Mm.
emails. But I felt like there's something about you, and I just felt connected to. And every time we
Oh.
see a new pattern from you, it just makes me smile. So thank you so much for coming today. And thank you all of you for watching and going on this journey with us today. I will include all the links down below. And keep on sewing, keep on learning new things.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's so nice
Absolutely.
chat with you.
Thank you.